with a smile on his noggin is Malcolm Roberts, One Nation Senator. Hello, mate.
G'day, Marcus. How are you?
Well, all right. Well, you saved a little bit of face up there on the Gold Coast last night.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it because I'm calling from Bowen right now, and last night I was addressing the Chamber of Commerce. We had a fabulous night.
Okay.
Bowen's a place with the world's best mangoes, but I saw the result this morning.
Yeah, and Bowen, I remember it well in my travels up in North Queensland. Gorgeous spot, and you're right, that's where the world's best mangoes come from.
Bowen specials, mate. Absolutely unbeatable.
All right, tell me about this inquiry into security of work. The focus, of course, on the casualisation of our workforce. What's happening here?
Well, mate, you know that I've been really pushing hard on this issue for coal miners in the Hunter Valley and in central Queensland. And initially, even Labor ridiculed me and just said, no, this is nonsense, it's not happening. I think some of the Labor MPs were trying to cover it up. But it's now come out after 2 years of pushing this issue. It's now come out into the open. And Labor and Liberals, Labor and Crossbench and the Greens have got together, and we've got this inquiry up, sponsored by Senator Sheldon. And we're looking into it. They're taking the gloves off and getting right into it. And but what I'm doing now is that I'm broadening it because job security, which is what this is all about, is not just about casuals. It's about industry security because the Labor and Greens policies are ending coal mining. And it's also about personal security because I've been shocked, as I've shared with you quite openly over the last few months, that people's safety is really jeopardised and people have been crippled and just tossed on the scrap heap with no workers' compensation. That kind of stuff has got to end, and state and federal governments are at fault, and we've really got to shake things up. And I want to... I've been very critical of the Hunter Valley CFMEU, and I remain so.
Yeah.
They have abandoned workers completely. They've enabled enterprise agreements that have sold workers out. But I want to compliment the CFMEU Construction Division because I read their submission into this inquiry, and it is first class, comprehensive. And what was very disappointing was yesterday, we did it. We asked questions of various organisations on Tuesday when I was in Rocky. Mm-hmm. And then yesterday I had to stop and at Marlborough in the bush and ask questions of the mining companies and labour hire companies. And they were evasive, mate. They just don't get to the point because I think all along this whole issue has been how do we cut miners' wages? That's what it's all about.
Labour hire companies essentially cut real wages. I don't care how anybody tries to spin it. That's exactly what happens. You and I both know it, and it's high time that we do something about it. Tell me what's happening.
Well, some of the companies, mate, are actually giving people an introduction to mining. There are some very good labour hire companies around.
Yeah, but I don't agree with them. Yeah.
But some of them are just ripping people off. I mean, how do you get a mining company employing its own people and then paying a commission to a labour hire firm for hiring other people unless you cut mining wages? You can't give them a profit on top of miners' wages, so they cut miners' wages. That's what's going on, but there are some good ones.
Yeah, well, maybe. I just disagree with these sorts of labour hire companies anyway, because eventually it comes down to, first and foremost, how much money the labour hire company can make, and workers, who are the ones putting in all the hard yards, are always those that seem to lose out. And anyway, let's put that aside now.
Well, what it also shows, Marcus, is that some of these mining companies don't understand that safety is not a cost. Safety actually saves money and increases production.
Yeah.
They also don't seem to understand that if you pay people doing the same job different rates of pay,
of course,
then you're going to create animosity. It hurts morale, hurts safety, hurts commitment. That hurts productivity.
But it's not just in it's not just in the mining sector. Labour hire companies hire people in factories across southwestern Sydney, and I can tell you some stories, and I will one day, that'll make your toes curl. I mean, they just are ripping off workers.
Yes.
All right, WA. Let's move over to Western Australia. I see the government there has upset the Australian Christian lobby. They've cancelled an event hire at the convention centre. The ACL had hired the convention centre, and the Labor state government cancelled the booking. Why?
Well, apparently some gay and trans activists complained, and so the Labor government said, no, you can't have that event, after they'd already signed up the Australian Christian lobby to have that event in their convention centre, and also at one of the towns south of Perth.
Right.
But Martin Iles has been doing a fabulous job. I attended his presentation in Brisbane. It was first class, really getting down to, I think he calls it the truth of it. And he's doing a really good job. And what McGowan's government, the Labor government in WA, I think they're afraid of what he's doing, and they're just trying to shut him down. But really, it's getting like Nazi Germany and China. It ends religious freedom. These people went out as a legitimate, everyday organisation and booked a venue, and then they've been cancelled. So, this is just an end of free speech in our country. That's what Labor is doing in Western Australia.
All right, well, the ACL, I'm certainly no fans of theirs. I think they're a little too far right in some of their views. But look, they certainly do have a right in this country to assembly and get together and discuss issues that are of concern to them. So I find it very odd. And you're right, I tend to agree. Why are we shutting down conversation? That doesn't sound very democratic to me.
No, and that's a form of control. And Marcus, I've said it many times, wherever there is control, beneath control, there is fear. The Labor government in WA is afraid of these people speaking up. There are a lot of Christians, good, solid Christians in WA, and they're shutting them down. That's not right.
All right, of course, we know the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide has been set up. We've got an interim report due in August of next year, a final report not until 2023. We certainly do need to do more to support our veterans.
Yes, it's something that Pauline and I have been pushing for quite a while, but I must give compliment and appreciation to Jackie Lambie, who has been pushing this Royal Commission for quite a while now.
Yep.
And it's not just into veterans, it's also into defence suicide. And they want to look at systemic issues and common themes around suicide, contemplation of suicide and feelings of suicide. You've given the dates, and I encourage all veterans and current members of the Defence Force who have a point to make to contact the Commission and make a submission, and then see if you can become a witness before the Royal Commission. It's really important. I've said it before. We have a fabulous armed forces in terms of the commitment of these people over 100 years, and what it is that we actually send them, we bend them, but we don't mend them, and that's where we've got to do a better job of looking after people. When I think the Romans first noticed it, a couple of thousand years ago, that when a man is sent to war and he comes back, he's a different person. We've got to acknowledge that and look after these people.
All right, mate, good to have you on. We'll chat again next week.
All right, mate. Thanks.
Take care. One Nation Senator Malcolm Romrose. All right.